नमस्ते दिल्ली, कैसे हो आप सब लोग? बढ़िया? Okay, so I don't know how many of you were with me last time when we spoke about Gemini. It was, I think, the version 1.5, right? So how many of you attended the Build with AI workshop sometime back? Okay, so now Gemini has become version 2.5. It's become bigger, it's become better, it has become more intelligent, and by the way, it's also started to think now, right? So we're going to start off the day by discussing what we have stored as far as the latest versions of Gemini is concerned, especially after the advent of Cloud Next. How many of you watch Cloud Next live stream? That's not bad. Some 20% of you seem to have watched it, so very good. So a lot of this content is from there, and we're trying to give it a Indian context to it. So once again, welcome to the Google Cloud Summit. Let me hear it from you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to have an action-packed day, but let me just set the stage in terms of what we actually have to discuss during the entire day. So it has been a wonderful 2024. We have been able to ship more than 3,000 product advancements across the Google Cloud and Workspace. So this has been a marquee year, 2024. We're looking forward to an even greater year as far as 2025 is concerned. We expanded over 2 million mile terrestrial and subsea fiber network by announcing new subsea cables like Umoja, Bosun, and Proa. More than 4 million developers are using Gemini right now, and I want to give all of you a big round of applause for helping us drive adoption in India, right? So please give yourself a big round of applause as far as Gemini adoption is concerned. So we have had a 20x increase in Vertex AI usage last year, driven by strong adoption by developers such as you. And over 2 billion AI assets monthly to Google business users with Google Workspace. So, but even more exciting is the momentum with you, the developers. Google is building a unique movement, investing in technology and ecosystems for power growth and transformation. So this has been a great way for us to measure the traction as far as Gemini adoption is concerned. So this AI momentum is very, very exciting. The last 2 years, especially if you're a developer, if you're in the tech business, the kind of transformation that's happened as far as AI is concerned is earth-shattering. So this is a year where it's going to take off to a different trajectory, right? And that's what we're looking for as far as Google AI is concerned. So Gemini 2.5 Pro is available now for everyone on AI Studio, Vertex AI, as well as in the Gemini app. How many of you have already started to play around with Gemini 2.5 Pro? That's very nice. So you'll find a very interesting day today when you're trying to actually see how some of us are using it, and we'll be having a lot of interactive sessions as we get into the day. So, and we also announced Gemini 2.5 Flash, our low latency and most cost-efficient model with thinking built into it. With 2.5 Flash, you can control how much the model reasons and balance your performance to your budget, right? So if you're very cost cautious, if you want to make sure that you're very frugal as far as using these models, Gemini 2.5 Flash does deliver on that. In addition to Gemini 2.2, which has a native image generation capabilities, Imagen 3, our specialized model for image, and Veo 2, our specialized model for generating videos, are now generally available. Chirp and Lyria are our audio models currently in preview. So how many of you have been playing around with Imagen 3? That's very nice. So please go take a look at it. Making videos, making images, and adding sound has become really, really very compelling. So some of you who are using this for building businesses, as far as marketing or any other businesses, it becomes much more efficient to start using it. So it's exciting to see how companies of all sizes are doing more with AI and translate these benefits to customers. So this is an exhaustive list of all the customers who started to use Gemini. So some clear examples. We have an example from Manipal Hospital. This is related to patient care, especially when it gets very complex when nurses are changing their shift, and one shift happens from one nurse to the other shift to another nurse for the same patient, how generative AI is playing a role in the handoff for nurses. This is a very critical process which is helping Manipal Hospital transform things as far as patient care is concerned. So this is another example of Wipro, a great example of company integrating AI into the core of its operations. Using Vertex AI and Gemini models, Wipro is in its project execution to clients are able to equip their workforce using generative AI tools to enhance developer productivity, accelerate cloud migrations, and deliver innovative Gen AI solutions. So this is another example of how a company, Wipro, is using for their developer productivity as far as Gemini models are concerned. Okay, this is my favorite one. We're also building for India and ensuring that millions of developers are trained and upskilled on Google Cloud AI. We launched Gen AI Academy earlier this year. It has crossed 200,000 enrollments. So we launched Gen AI, and I want to, how many of you have been playing around with Gen AI as of now? Okay, this is the sizable amount of people who are already starting to use Gemini by participating with the Gen AI Academy. So we've got 200K enrollments as of now. So we're looking forward to start the engagements and working with you so that you can drive more adoption of this. So any of you who have not really registered, you still have an opportunity to register. Please go ahead and scan the QR code and go ahead and register for that. Also, we also opened applications for our accelerator program. So AI First Accelerator Program, if some of you are entrepreneurs or working in startups or wanting to start up and you have a product or you have a POC or you have a minimum viable product, please go ahead and apply for this. So the first one is the App Accelerator. We're working with Métis Startup Hub and supporting 10,000 startups in their AI journey. So we've already reached significant amount of that during the course of last few months. We still have some distance to go in driving adoption of AI with some of the startups out here in India. So if you're a core AI startup and wanting to build Gen AI applications or agentic solutions for multimodal, AI First Accelerator is the place for you to register. So go ahead and check that out. So this is the code, the URL for you to go ahead and apply. So if you want, I'll leave it there for a few moments, so you can just take a photo of that. Okay, and specifically for developers, I'm excited to talk to you today about how Google Cloud is transforming software development. We are innovating in 3 key areas. First, we are unlocking your ability to build the next generation of agentic applications. How many of you have been started to play around on agentic applications so that we get a hang of how the rest of the sessions will be there? That's a good 20-30% of you, which is nice. We are empowering you to build agents that are AI-powered services. These agents can plan, reason, learn, collaborate, and act to achieve your goals on behalf of the users or its concerned with other agents. These agents can be incorporated to a key part of your application and seamlessly integrate with the rest of your cloud stack. So you can make all these applications, your web applications, mobile applications, front-end, back-end, they're very more intelligent and very, very agentic so that it can start working by itself. So this is some of the ways you can go ahead and do it. And finally, collaborate. We are excited to introduce Agent Development Kit to help you build your agents. So you'll get to hear more about this as we get on during the day. So Agent Engine to help you run your agents. And then finally, Agent Space to help users interact with your agents. So these are the 3 things which formed together. These allow you to create applications where agents and users can work together to achieve a common goal. Second, we are helping you to be the most productive software engineer with your code assist and cloud by increasing your ability to develop, right? So these agents allow you to accelerate development, and we are able to make sure that software engineers become very, very productive. So with that, we have Google Cloud Assist and Google Code Assist. These 2 offerings are there. And how many of you have started to use Cloud Assist or Google Code Assist? Okay, it's a very few number. So please go ahead and check this out during the rest of the day, during the sessions. These agents allow you to accelerate development and streamline your cloud operations across your entire software development lifecycle. So as you know that agentic applications with the help of Cloud Assist kind of products are making things much more swifter, right? What used to take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months is being able, people are able to do it in a few hours. So that is the way AI is starting to augment as far as code generation is concerned. So stay tuned for more such information during the day. Finally, all of this is powered by Gemini models, allowing you to leverage Gemini's expansive context window and multimodal support. So multimodal is the very, very key aspect here, which offers you as a key differentiator as far as Cloud Assist or Code Assist is concerned. This allows seamless integration of video, images, voice, and your data, creating deeply immersive real-time insights and experiences. So in today's keynote, we are excited to demonstrate how you can benefit from all these innovations. To do that, I'd like to invite two special guests on stage. Please welcome Abhirami and Anchit. Please give them a big round of applause, folks.
Everybody. Thank you so much, Karthik.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the click. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Can we have another round of applause for this amazing introduction by Karthik? Hi, Anchit.
Hey, Abhi.
Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here today. And, thanks a lot for all the folks who joined us on the live stream as well. Really excited to be here. And it's so good to see so many of you this morning. Anchit, do you want to get us started on what we have in store, all things Google, for our audience today?
Sure, sure. So we have heard from so many developers. They want to know how Google Cloud can help them build great software. So exactly that's what we are going to show today. From getting started to building agents, scaling, and ultimately a sneak peek into what's coming next.
Cool. That's the cue for us to get started on the amazing demos, the row of tech demos that we have for you. So before getting started, do you want us to tell us what they're going to see us build with them on the stage?
Definitely. So we are going to show developers how we can build things, building agents. How do we use Google Cloud? How do we use Gemini? What are the different ways? And at the core of it, it's all start with the models, right? And in fact, Gemini still offers one of the longest context window and bi-directional multi-model streaming capabilities. And all of this is available for you to use today. Even the Gemini 2.5 Pro model is available in AI Studio. So let's see this in action, Abhi.
Thank you so much for setting that up for me and for all the developers here today. Thanks, Anchit.
Thank you.
So, hi, everybody. In the next few minutes, you're going to be with me for a series of demos where we're going to showcase how you can leverage Gemini and Google Cloud in its full essence to whatever is possible for us during this session of demos, and build AI-enabled applications. Are you all ready? Yes, but before that, you have to sit with me through a little bit of banter from my side, and then we'll get hands-on, because I want to set you up for what we're going to build, right? So where does building with AI begin for me? So I'll explain where it begins for me, but any thought on where it begins for you? When you have an idea, where do you begin? How do you start? Sorry? Building prototype. Big round of applause. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Before that, you should design properly, have your ideas vetted out, ask all the questions you want, get all the information you need, design, and then build your prototype. But I like it. I like how developers always jump into prototyping and writing code. But yes, building prototype, that's where I'll begin too. I want to, if I have a problem in my head, I want to get started with prototypes. I want to know whether something is possible with the choice of the model I have, with the choice of the platform or the framework that I have, right? Like everybody else. So that is where we are going to talk about AI Studio, the Google's AI Studio that we will see hands-on right now. That's where it comes in. It's a place where you can rapidly prototype anything for your application development or any information that you want to get, all right? So what problem are we going to solve today? So I've been meaning to renovate my kitchen for a while now. I'm not a general constructor or a general contractor who has information. I don't know where to begin. I don't even have all the details. So I want Gemini to help me with the basics, to help me with the details. I want Gemini to give me even the prompt to tell me what I need to ask in order to generate a renovation plan. And then not even renovation plan, the proposal or the details for what I want from a general constructor or a general contractor. What should I talk to them about? What should I ask? So give me a prompt that helps me to get all those details to put together so I can submit it to get a proposal done, right? So that is where I want. I want to first generate a prompt. So I'll ask Gemini for that. I'll set it up. And not only that, get all the details and the context that I want to build the application further along, but I also want to see this come to life, right? I want Gemini to tell me what it would look like afterwards. Maybe not everything, but minor details, because I want to begin somewhere. Right, so let's get hands-on. Let's get over to Google AI Studio. I'm going to my laptop now, so let's get started. All right, we are ready to switch over to my laptop. Cool. So I want to renovate my kitchen. I had it typed for convenience, so I don't cause typos right here. So I want to renovate my kitchen. Basically, I just want to remodel it. I don't know where to start. I want to use Gemini to generate a plan for me. For that, I need a good prompt. So give me a short yet detailed prompt that I can use. I'm already confusing Gemini, but I've selected Gemini 2.5 Pro here. All right, I've set the configuration parameters here, the temperature. I've set all the tools that you want. You can actually ground it with Google Search, because you know those are some of the things that you can only do with Gemini, right? You're grounding it with search so that you can actually get the citations for where it's coming from. But that said, as you can see, it is actually thinking. It's thinking through the process, and it is giving the reasoning behind its thought process and its output, so you can make an informed decision when you go ahead building your application. Right? So this is what we have. It will say why this prompt works also, why this prompt is good for you. So that way you can see what is the benefit of certain attributes that it has taken into account. And if you want to adjust a few things, you can tell them, hey, you know what, I don't want to give so much importance to budget. I don't care, I have all the money in the world. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that, for example, I have all the money in the world, just don't worry about the budget, just give me some prompt that will help me get the best plan out there. If you want, you can adjust your parameters, you can tweak it and size it up and down and get the prompt that you desire. So here we go. I've got all the prompts. See how detailed it is. It's talking about the budget range. It's talking about the style and aesthetics. It's talking about the functional needs that you may need and the priorities. So it is telling you that your proposal plan in the end should cover the proper planning and design phase, the budgeting and code, hiring professionals, what are the installation units that you need, so on and so forth. So many things. Great. Now, let's say I want to see this come to life. So what I'm going to do right here is move over to the image generation model that I have access to at this moment. And I'm going to upload a picture of my current kitchen. And I want it to actually add 2 glow pendant lights to the ceiling of the peninsula in the kitchen. The island top, I just want to add some lights or something similar. So, of course, it goes through. So how many of you have used image generation for Gemini 2.0? And how many of you have used Imagine? There's no competition. Both are great. Imagine users are more sophisticated in terms of they know how to design. They know the terminologies. So I'm not saying that normal people who are non-designers from the image editing perspective cannot use Imagine. But all I'm trying to say is with Imagine, you get more control over the actual technical terminologies that you get with image editing. Whereas in Gemini, you can just talk to it. Like, I'm a software engineer, but I can just type in and say, hey, Bill, do this for me, edit this for me, add 2 lights for me. So it's like more of a common terminology that I'm using rather than using technical editing terminologies, right? There we go. We got the pendant lights created. I'm really excited about this. Are you all? Yes, so this is a good starting point for me. And yeah, I would like to think that besides just giving me information about what all I would need as in a prompt to get a proposal done. It is also making me visualize how it will look when it comes to life. This is perfect. And did you also realize one thing? While it's thinking, it got so much output, which is not normal for model, right? You can see that it supports normally like 65,000 tokens, even in output, if you select that model, the Gemini 2.5 Pro corresponding model that you want. All right? So having said that, what does long context mean for me, mean for you? Just show of hands or just one or two examples of what you'll use a long context for. Tell me. He showed his hands and then he's thinking. Come on, tell me. Provide more context to it. One example, as a business user, everyone wants to give more information, grounded with more truth. Also, as a developer, yeah. Something of a big book, amazing. But as a developer, what I would like to do, any guesses? Code base. Big round of applause. We're all developers here. That should be your first thought process, right? So for me, I can add my entire code base, give it full context about what exactly I'm trying to do, upload all the documents, HDD, LDD, whatever you have in the world, and then get information about what changes I need to make in the code, right? So that is my main usage of long context window. But besides that, you also have the multi-model support. And in addition, there is one powerful thing which you saw, which is reasoning. So that allows you to control how the model is thinking. So it's tuning, but not exactly tuning. You can do tuning also, but this is like fine-tuning, where you can actually change things right in the prompt level itself. So here you go. From here, you can get started with all the docs and everything you need, grab an AI key, and start building an AI-enabled application. No, I'm not leaving it. We are going to build more stuff. So I already said what it means to me, adding code base and all that, but I'm just going to leave the slide on for a few seconds so you can actually see and appreciate what else you can do. Search, grounding, code execution. You can actually execute and get the results and see what it would look like with all your code base. Multimodal output, tool calls. So if you have something else that will support. So for example, you're building certain applications that will help you customize your code generation in a certain way, you can plug that in as well. I'm just taking code generation or code editing or code customization or personalization as an example. But if you're a business user, think of it as a problem solver for all the use cases, like the one we saw right now, the kitchen renovation. You saw how I was able to get all that information, right? So plug that use case in, or any other use case for which you want to build prototypes or use this long context window model for, and you can get all this multimodal input and output and everything, tool call and all this integration together, which leaves us with only one thing that only Google can do. Not just only one thing, but the things that only Google can help developers build, which is we have fused the power of reasoning with the native long context capabilities, along with the multimodal support. And in return, what do you get? An amazing coding experience, not just that amazing developer experience, and answers, basically responses to anything that your business or as a developer, your team wants to do, that can only get with Gemini. Perfect. Now I've said all these things. What am I going to do next? What am I going to build with the restyling thing that I thought? What does it mean to me? What more can I build? Any guesses? What am I going to build now? The buzzword of the year. Agents. Very good. Enter agents. You can't leave this room without hearing a year full of agents in all our talks, right? Because it's what is happening right now. It's important. Basically, more than anything, it is autonomous decision-making grounded in truth, which is the ultimate reason why it's so popular. I find myself answering a lot of times developers' questions around why can't I do this in a normal application? This is exactly why, because it may or may not, it actually talks to an AI model to perform a goal-based operation. Basically, it takes your needs as its own. Our partners might not do, but agents will. Take the goals, your vision, your goals as its own, and it performs a goal-based operation using the tools and context that you provide, and grounded in truth all along the way. It is able to make autonomous decisions, right? So that's exactly why it's great. So we are going to go from what we did in the previous step, which is prompt-based generation, to building an agent. So we are going to build an agent to help us generate the proposal document. We got the prompt, we got all the details that I needed to go ahead and generate a proposal document, right? So I'm going to use all that information that I got from my prototype, and I'm going to build a single agent first with what? Right, you're getting there. Don't jump into the answer straight. First, talk about the framework that supports it. Vertex AI, the platform that supports it. Vertex AI is our end-to-end AI platform for building and managing AI applications and agents. And not just that, what else can you do? Deploy, scale, monitor, observe, do whatever you want. If anything AI, anything agentic, anything your business wants to solve, jump into Vertex AI and see what problems there are for you to solve, or how you can solve your problems. Don't look for problems, look for solutions in Vertex AI. And you already got the answer right. You jumped in there first. You will move to ADK. Right. So there is a queue for a technical glitch. The slides are not matching, so just letting you know. All right, but let's move on in the interest of time. So we have Agent Development Kit, which you all know is an open source framework, right? It is able to allow developers build agentic applications, get started really quickly. It's a Python SDK. It's open source. It supports MCP. What more do you need? Did you know there's also something called MCP Toolbox for databases? What does it do? Yes, but not just that. It abstracts your database development layer from your agent development layer, which means you can actually do whatever you want in your tools or database part, and your agent your agent application will be completely uninterrupted. You don't have to deploy anything to make that change or whatever. You can just see the agent responding to your latest updates in your database based on the changes that you make to MCP tools, which are deployed in MCP Toolbox for databases. I'm a big fan of that. I predominantly focus on databases, if you know, and I've built a lot of these MCP Toolbox for databases tools for AlloyDB. If you check out the blogs, I mean, you have one that'll be linked in towards the end of this session. But yeah, that is possible. And remember, Toolbox for databases, that is also a Google open-sourced service, predated MCP. So if you know MCP, the Model Context Protocol, you'll hear a lot about that, which gives you a protocol for your agents to interact well with tools, right? So that is the protocol that is what we call as MCP. But we have something called MCP Toolbox for databases, which just does that, but with database as the main focus, right? Security, everything that you want to do with database management, it takes care of it for you. I mean, you have to write the configuration and the code for it, but yeah, afterwards, it will take care of it for you. Cool, we've already discussed that. Now let's go to the demo. Are you ready to get hands-on? What are the 3 things that are needed to build ADK? You already saw that in the slide. No. You're building the agent, not deploying it yet, right? So we need 3 things. As you can see right here, instruction, tools, and model. That's it. With these 3 things, you can just build your agent in 2 minutes. You want to see how? Let's get started. OK, so here we are. I have to reload. So while it reloads, I'm going to tell you what instructions are. Instructions are, so instruction that you specify in agent is basically the command, the context that you provide for the agent to do the things, right? The context that we got from the prototype that we did. So you provide all that instructions. You basically instruct the agent what it has to do for your business requirement. So that is exactly what we call the instruction. What are tools? Tools go beyond instructions. Tools allow you to allow your agents to interact with whatever system or context or source you want, go one step beyond, and talk to your whatever source of truth you have, and make your agents responsible to respond based on the context that you add through tools. Tools, just imagine tools as a tool that you use to solve a problem in real world, right? Same thing. In agentic world, tools help you solve that the agentic problem that you have. It brings in information from across sources or whatever you want the tool to do. All right, so I'm going to just refresh this. We need this because then you will not be able to see the code. So I'm going to give it a second for this to load. All right. I think I bantered too much that it locked me out. All right. So here we are, almost there. ADK renovation agent, because I'm building a renovation agent and I'm using ADK for it. All right. So let's see what we have right here. I'll close this so you can view. So where do I get started? Like I said, you need to know the model. I said 3 things, right? Instruction, tools, model. Instruction, we'll get there first, but first model. Gemini 2.5, I already told you. API key, you need to have grabbed it from your environment variable. Like we know that from the prototype, you know where to get your API key. So all of these are set in my environment variable, so I'm just grabbing it from there. And anything else that you may need in your application. I need a storage bucket because I want the proposal document to be uploaded into the storage. And so many other things that I need for it. All right, so now instruction. So here we go. I define my proposal agent. Here I give my instructions. These are some of the details that I got from the prototype. So now I know what I can ask when I want a proposal document to be generated. So I put those instructions here. Any other dependencies you want, you can mention that here. I also have a sample proposal template that it can reference in order to know what components it should not miss. Because who gave me that reference? When I asked for prompt, Gemini 2.5 already gave me the questions that I need to ask. So I prepared a sample proposal and I added it there. And finally, some configuration information and main thing, tools. So here I'm using a tool called Store PDF. All that it does is it processes the instructions, it generates the renovation proposal PDF, and it uploads that to cloud storage. That's all I want this tool to do, right? So that's it. And this is a simple first agent. You can just get building with it as soon as you want. So now I'm going to actually set up the project because it's actually logging out, right? So let me just set up the project, and here I am. I want to run it in ADK Web. If you want to have an agent interactive experience, you can do this. Or if you want to just first compile and check and run your agent in test mode and check, you can also use ADK run dot. We have to go into the source folder and then collect the source and do ADK run. So you can do either. So you'll get an interactive experience like this. You choose the agent and you get started with hello. It's taking a moment to load because I have reset everything. Still, I don't know if this will work because this is a previously open session, but I'm going to try. Okay, here we go. Let me open this new session. So this is an interactive agent user experience that we get as part of agent. So you know already how it will respond, and you can actually have this experience while you're building and testing. So it's responded saying that it can do all these things. What do you want to do? So I just want to create a proposal document. That's it. That's what I wanted to do. And then it'll probably come back with suggestions, or it'll already create a proposal document if it has all the information it needs. But it has come back with a question saying, I'll need a few details. What are the necessary requirements? Do you have a preference? Blah, blah, blah. So I said, I just need to remodel, to do kitchen remodel, no other specification. Because everything else that I need, I've mentioned in the instruction, no other specification that it asked me, right? So that's it. Now it will get started with the work, and it will actually generate the document in the storage. So we already have it generated, proposal document for user. So that's it. In less than a minute, you get your agent to interact with you and also to get the response that you needed. Switching back to the slides. So this is a place where this is a QR code to go to ADK docs. So you can get started here, but there is more. You'll get the real applications QR also once we do the multi-agent stuff. But for now, you saw how easy it is to get this ADK integrated to your application to build a simple agent, right? One simple agent, that's it. And we saw the output already. We saw how you can interact with it and get it delivered, right? Excited about what? Are you all ready to take this to build a multi-agent system? Yes, that's our next step. But before we go hands-on into that, let's see what are the things you need to know before you go ahead and build it. First of all, you all know multi-agent system is a mixture of agents talking to either working together or individually to perform something and being invoked whenever they are required. First of all, integration and interaction is the main part, right? Make sure these are complex systems that really have a need to exist as individual agents. Otherwise, you can just process them as tools, right? If they are not very sophisticated or specialized. Next, you need to know Agent Engine. I know some of you already are curious to jump into Agent Engine. You could use Agent Engine even with a single agent if you just are ready. So once you saw the app worked and I got the response. You saw that I can directly deploy it and have it consumed by any other application. So what is it? Well, how will you make it available to applications? Agent Engine, because it is a fully managed agent runtime that allows developers to deploy agents. Behind the scenes, it's powered by okay, fine, we love Gemini, but don't say Gemini for all the questions. This is behind the scenes powered by Cloud Run, because it's a serverless service, end of the day. And finally, we also have, Karthik already talked about Agent Engine and Agent Space, so we'll jump into that also in the demo. So this is where you can get all of the agents that are built by your organization and also agents built and made available in Marketplace, all in one place. If you have been given the access to see those, then that's the hub that brings all the agents together, and that hub is called Agent Space. You will see that also in this demo today. And like I said, it brings in agents from Marketplace as well as the ones you have access to in your organization by default. It supports third-party models and agents as well. So ready to see it in action? Let's just go dive into the quick hands-on, right, before it locks me out again. All right, here we are to my system. Yeah. So we already saw the proposal agent. And in a similar fashion, I'm going to add 2 more agents to the same application. We already generated proposal, right, using the proposal agent. So now I want an agent to check the permissions, the permits and compliance regulatory measures that the project needs to take care of. So I need a permits agent. And I also need an ordering and delivery agent, an agent that can take care of materials that I need to order for the project and the delivery status and everything. So 2 more agents, right? Nothing new. I've used the same structure, model, instruction, and tools. As you can see right here, I have used different set of tools. 3 tools for permits agent and 3 tools for ordering agent, right? And I've given the instruction. Let's not go into the details because we already know how these work, and just assume that these tools do the work that the respective agents want them to do. Remember, I've used MCP toolbox for databases in one of the tools to go to the database and check order status, right? So that is being used in order agent. Now, this is the main part, the root agent. So this is the agent that helps you orchestrate the sub-agents that we have created. Here, again, we have model, instruction, and tools. But instead of tools, what we have used here, you can also use more tools, but what we've used here, sub-agents. Because why? We need the sub-agents to list all the agents that it needs to orchestrate, because that is the job of the root agent, right? So we have to navigate between the agents that it has to network with, and that is what is listed here. It's very similar to listing tools, declaring tools, same way. If you notice here, the instructions right here guide this root agent to navigate between the sub-agents. So basically, it makes autonomous, informed decision based on the truth that you have provided here. If there are additional dependencies, you can mention here. But besides that, it is also able to handle the context and state of your multi-agent system. If you want to hold something in state, so these are more sophisticated, more complex systems. So all of that is possible. So just remember, you should access the docs to see which one applies to you, and then start building. All right, so now my multi-agent system is ready. Here we spoke about Agent Engine, right, to deploy it. So how do I deploy it? Agent Engine deployment, I have Vertex AI initiated because Agent Engine is a service that is available on Vertex AI. I provide all the requirements and dependencies. You can directly reference it to requirements.txt. And you will, once this code is executed, you will get an endpoint that looks something like this, right? This is a sample endpoint, but this is what my endpoint actually looks like right here. Right? So once this endpoint is obtained, you can now use this multi-agent system to be consumed by any other user or any other application or any other agent out there. But are we ready yet? No. Why? We haven't tested. So let's go ahead and test it in, what did we say we are going to see? The hub. Agent Space. Not the hub. The hub is not the name of the product. Agent Space is the name of the product. The hub is what it is. Right? So let's move to Agent Space right here. So Google Agent Space. Here on the left-hand side, you see all the agents that are available to me. So I navigate to renovation agent. So I'm going to upload the proposal document that was created. It's saying hello and everything, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to ignore that. And in the interest of cost as well, I don't want to respond to that. I just want to ask questions like kick off permits process, get to the business, right? So now, behind the scenes, the root agent navigates it and knows to go to the permits and processing agent, the sub-agent, and there we go. We got the response. It has taken all the details. It has run the tools and brought in a checklist of permits and compliance that I need to run this permits and compliance agent. Now I can ask more questions like send email to the respective authorities and do whatnot. So all these things are already programmed, so the agent is capable of doing those things. But now I want to move on to another use case. I wanted to check order status for some of the materials that I've already placed orders for. So behind the scenes, which agent it is going to call now? Ordering agent, because we have 3 agents, right? But, oops, there's a failure. The ordering sub-agent has failed. Any idea why? Okay, I have a hunch that we have a tool which is being used as part of this agent. So I'm going to go to logging first, because this is all deployed in Google, deployed in Agent Engine, and Agent Engine is available in our Logs Explorer, like log engine. So I'm going here. I'm going to my Logs Explorer. I've opened logs. I see a bunch of errors, so I know, clearly, already I know something is wrong. So I expand this, and sort of going through all this long wall of text, I'm going to click Investigate, Create Investigation. So investigations, cloud investigations is a new feature in Google Cloud logging, if you didn't already know, in Cloud Assist. So this feature allows you to not just explore and fix infrastructure issues, it also, okay, so there is a network issue for me. It should technically, okay, let's see again. I'll just refresh it. In the meantime, I already have it loaded, but right before this demo setup, I have the error loaded in another page, so let's go into that one. But this feature allows you to not just fix infrastructure code or infrastructure issues, it also helps you fix code issues that are actually available in your code, the code that you're writing, not the service. So I'm creating the investigation. So once it's loaded, you can see your investigation response like this. It will say investigation report created, and open it. And I have my investigation report created. I have 4 relevant observations and 1 hypothesis. So I'm just going to go to observations. I can see what all issues are encountered. And I go to the hypothesis. I can actually see that I can skip all this and go to the last part where it's actually saying, view Gemini suggested code edit and make the fix. It means I can just actually click error without having to read any single line of the bug or the exception in the log text. Just click view investigation, follow the link to navigate to code edit and fix it. And here it has brought me to the source code of the tool that has failed as part of the agent. Remember I told you the ordering agent uses a tool which references the AlloyDB to check order status. I have incorrectly referenced the column name order status as status. That is the issue, right? So I like the suggestion that Gemini has provided, so I'm just going to accept code suggestion and save and redeploy my code without checking anything. That's it. Whenever the deployment is done, which will take about a minute or 2, that's it. Your agent is up and running. Remember I told you MCP Toolbox, you just fix the tool behind the scenes. You don't have to make any change. I don't have to do anything with the agent code. The agent will be up and running with the new updated tool fix that we've done. And your agent is ready to respond now, right? How cool is that? Without reading even an exception line, you are able to fix it by following the Gemini suggested code edit. Happy as developers, right? We got there. We got this, right? As for developers, we always need issues, and the time we spend on fixing issues is more than actually designing and conceiving that whole idea. So yes, this definitely helps me as a developer. So I want you all to scan this and try this out. This is a direct link to the blog that has the code repo for the project that you just saw. All of this is available. You might have to fix the bug in your Cloud Run because you didn't run investigations, I did, right? So you'll have to fix that and get this working. But yes, this is a QR code. You will be able to directly try it out at your own time, make some changes, submit some pull requests. I'm really excited to see what you're going to build with this multi-agent system using ADK from Vertex AI. Ping us for questions or reach us out. It is really great for us to introduce such sophisticated concepts and be the first to deliver that, especially coming from Google Cloud, and I'm really excited for that. So with that, before I go, this one last thing I promise. I want to talk about agent-to-agent protocol. Karthik also spoke about a lot of things around agent space and the things that are coming up. And so this is one thing before we go take this agent or multi-agent system to do something else. You need to know that interacting with agents or allowing agents in your own system or even from third-party and vendors communicate with each other is paramount. Right? It's not just you. There are so many dependencies and partners that your organization is working with. So agent-to-agent framework that we have launched is a protocol very similar to MCP, which takes care of agent-to-tool interaction. Agent-to-agent frameworks allows that kind of interaction with third-party agents and vendors and even agents of your own. So that's exactly what it is. And it's really exciting to see that Google is already working with so many others to create such a standard for exactly this. All right, with that, I invite Anchit on stage to get started with the next set of demos. Thank you so much.
How cool? How cool was that? So, shall we have some more demos? We are all charged up? Okay. So far, we have shown you a lot of ways to build things, right? But we love the ecosystem. And developers love using what's new and exciting, right? And frankly, what's the most useful for your job? Isn't that right? That's the nature of most modern software. So, Vertex AI Model Garden. How many of you know about it? Yeah, that's a good number of hands. So Vertex AI Model Garden has enabled 200 models to date, which you can go ahead and use it, deployable around the globe today. You can choose whatever model works for you for each task. So let's see how Google AI can give you an unprecedented choice in both IDEs and models. Shall we jump into the demo? Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's switch to the demo. Have you heard about Firebase Studio? Have you used Firebase Studio? That's easy. So what are the two best things about Firebase Studio? One, it's free of cost. Second, it has Gemini Code Assist inbuilt into it. Oops, sorry. It has Gemini Code Assist built into it. So this is how Firebase Studio looks like, right? So what I'm going to try is, this is a simple, plain, vanilla web application. It has index, HTML, JavaScript, and a CSS file, which is all blank today. I want to create a game called Paddle Bounce, right? We'll give a neon look to it. And I have created a prompt, a very detailed prompt, via Gemini already, which I'm going to just copy this and run it here. If you see, we have used the latest Gemini 2.4 Pro model directly in Firebase Studio today. So it's available for you to use even in Gemini Code Assist. Okay, what happened? Let me quickly refresh this. Again, it was asleep for some time. Okay, there we are. I got my prompt ready. And my code assist is up. Just there you go. So this is a full agentic mode assistance to your code development, right? So it created the HTML file. Now I got the file inserted directly from my code assist console. It's creating more number of files. So for this normal HTML game, we'll need 3 files: the CSS, so that it looks good; HTML, so that it works, so that it's a web; and JavaScript, so that it works. So we got 2 files till now. Let's wait for it to give the JavaScript file. There we go. Okay, let's see if this works. I got my game ready. How cool was that? Not just that, you can select your code. You can ask it to explain a section. You can ask it to write test cases for you. Let's move back to the slides. So 2 things are true for developers, right? We are very particular about our tools. Am I right? And we are very excited to try new things. Is this right too? Therefore, I'm really excited by the fact that Google have taken such an open approach. You can use Gemini from your favorite IDE, from different tools. Not just that, there are so many models available in Model Garden. You can go ahead and deploy it and use it. So AI is showing up in a lot of places, not just IDE and notebooks. Think of agents as teammates that partner with you, with your work. So let's start with something called as data agents. We'll show you how agents powered by Google AI will partner with you and build something really cool using BigQuery, Vertex AI, and Gemini. So today, what we'll do is we'll take raw data, convert that raw data into a data app. This will be for our sales managers, and the application will do individual forecasting. This is for our dummy construction company. Let's get started. Let's switch back to the demo. Have you seen this console before? It's a BigQuery console. So if you see, I have a BigQuery notebook powered by Colab Enterprise into my BigQuery console directly. Now I can insert a cell. This is a product sales table. I'm just going to view the table once. OK, the table looks good. I'll add another cell. I'll drop a couple of columns which I don't need. If you see, my table data has already moved to the data frame, and I'm directly using data frame in Python. Let's add one more cell. And we are going to group by, and we are going to see some more data, like basically order value. Let's see the table. There we go. So the table view is good, right? How about I want to see some charts? If you visualize the data, you can identify exactly what's going on. And before diving deep into it, we can see if there is something missing or wrong with the data. So we get this out of the box. We can quickly go ahead and see the charts. Now, here, this is where the agent comes into the picture, right? Directly out of the box from BigQuery. And here, I'm going to ask in natural language to help me do the sales forecast from the table which I have given. From here on, all the coding is done by the agent itself. If you see, it is assisting me to do a lot of work. So it'll so if you see, it has written some Spark code for it, right? So it's getting some data, it's doing some manipulation, putting the data back, and this is possible because of new serverless Spark runtime in BigQuery. So now we can switch between Spark, Python, and SQL. Isn't that what we always wanted? Okay, there we go. If you see here, there's something called as time FM model, right? So it is a forecasting model which will help me do the forecast. And unlike normal traditional models, this has been trained on huge data set of forecasting data. And this will help me, and I can use it directly into my code. So I got the data, right? I have my product IDs, I have my forecast data. I have these data with accuracy of 95%. This is great, right? Let's go see the chart view. This is something I want to give it to my sales managers. How cool is this? I could come up with this within few minutes, right? Now the problem is, if I need to share this with my sales managers, I need to build an app. Is that right? You know what? I do not want to build an app for this and a data app. What can we do? Right from the console, we can create the data app, select the filters. For now, we are going to keep things default. And this will build an app for me, which I can share internally. If you see here, I got shareable data app ready, which my sales managers can directly use it. It is personalized to them. They can go ahead, change their view, and have the data. How cool is that? Let's switch back to the slides. So let's recap. We easily transformed raw data to a fully deployed data app. This is made possible by data science agent. But wait, there's more. We are coming up with new specialized agents to support data engineers, data analysts, and business users, which is in preview. But today, you can use this data science agent directly from Colab. Please scan this QR code to start using from Colab. Okay, so let's switch gears. How many of you know about VO2? What does it do? Yeah, so there has been a lot of buzz about VO2. It's a really cool model. If you haven't tried it already, please go ahead and give it a try. So it is available in Vertex AI today. You want to see a glimpse of it? There you go. This was created by VO2. Let's see one more. This was just text to video. We can do image to video, and we can do a lot of video editings as well. So I hope you enjoyed the hands-on with Google and AI. So please start building if you haven't already. Thank you.
So please give them another round of applause. Abhi, please come on stage. So So most of the content, what you saw, had live internet in it. Some of them were canned, but then they really worked very hard over the last few days to make sure that we're able to get this content across to you. So on the closure, I just want to understand how many of you are web developers? How many of you have been developing on mobile, on Android? Firebase. How many of you are using Firebase? Okay, so when internet came, how did it benefit? How did the developers benefit the users with internet? So you had internet, that's a platform. You had developers. What did internet and developers do to the users? You gave web apps, correct? Web apps transformed the way users lived. You could do online ticketing, you could buy stuff, you could buy groceries. Then what happened? After internet, what happened? Mobile came. And what did mobile do? It got internet on everybody's phones. And what did developers do using Android Studio? You built mobile apps. Then what has happened now? AI has come. AI is the platform. So what will developers do now using AI? You'll build agentic applications. Say that aloud. So you had web apps, you had mobile apps. Now is the era of agentic applications. So please go around and try it out, figure it out. If you're not, how many of you are using Vertex AI? So if you want to really move to the next phase of agentic applications, please start it and start playing with Vertex AI right now. Start using the agentic development kit. And I'm hoping that some of you are publishing your agents on the agent space on Google Vertex AI. With that, thank you all, and looking forward to a great next few hours today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. So I want to use this opportunity to call on stage Chintan Shah, Director for IT Services, as well as GCC, based in Bangalore. So he's going to be spearheading a roundtable or a panel discussion with a lot of industry leaders on how they're using some of these applications. Without further much ado, please go ahead and welcome Chintan Shah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Karthik, Abhirami, Anchit, absolutely fabulous. Light up our day. Thank you so much. Hope you are having a good time. Firstly, big thank you for all of you to take the time. I know time is the most precious element in our lives today, and you are investing that with us, so thank you for that. Like Karthik said, my name is Chintan Shah. I lead the ITES and GCC business for Google Cloud India. And by virtue of that's a segment that has the powerhouse of our developer community in India, right? Before that, I used to lead what we used to call the digital native business for Google Cloud India. So been there in different parts of our business. While we get the setup ready, what I wanted to do is just get a small preview of what we're going to talk about over the next 40 minutes. Developers have been at the forefront of all the innovation and the advancements that have happened that we live in currently, right? In the current times that we live through. Everything that's built around us is built by you, the experiences that we live through every single day, right? From morning till night, and everything around us. And while that's true, also true is with advent of Gen AI, a lot of that world is changing and evolving very fast, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to be joined by a set of industry leaders who are going to share perspective of how they're seeing this change happening around us and affecting our lives as developers. And hopefully that will trigger enough thoughts and questions in your mind in terms of how you approach this change and adapt it and ride with it, right? So that's our conversation today. With that, I will like to invite our panelists for today, Subrat, Pradeep, Neha, and Varun, right? So thank you for all of you to join us today on this very important topic. And I'll just do a quick intro and then we'll get the ball rolling. Subrat Gaur is the chief architect at Wipro, leading many things at Wipro, and we'll hear a bit of perspective from him and how Wipro is leading the charge. Similarly, we have Pradeep Kumar, who's joining us from TechM. He's the Vice President for the AI Competency Center at TechM. Neha Gupta is founder of Keploy, and she'll bring a very different perspective as we talk through today. And then we have Varun Mittal, Vice President of Engineering from Mediology. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking the time. To start off, what I'll do is I'll request all of them to take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to tell us the most impactful thing that you've come across in terms of how things are changing for developers. So, Subrat, we'll go with you and then.
Sure. Not too far back, I used to run into problems, and I'm sure all of you developers will associate with this. There's a new tech, there's a new technology that you want to learn, and the learning curve for that was quite steep, right? You would spend time on web and trying to figure out how to get something going. I think the biggest difference for developer community has been the time it takes from idea to get something going. So if you want to learn Rust, if you understand the basics, you can start creating applications in Rust. You want to learn Elixir, a completely new functional language, you don't have to spend 6 months, 1 year in trying to learn. You can start building apps. I think that is the most transformative thing that is happening in the industry, is that the time it takes from the concept or an idea to build something, to be able to deploy it, that has gone from months to days.
Yeah, and getting to ours. So, well said, Subrat. Pradeep?
Yeah, I think it's something similar. I mean, all of you as developers, probably majority of you start your career with coding. So this concept of pair programming has been there for decades now. So, but earlier, those pair programming methods were not about another programmer sitting and giving you code, but it's all about two people sitting together and developing something. And probably there was a tool in between to coordinating between two. But this is the first time where this concept of a pair programmer, where it's a thinking programmer, where it will work with you and boost your productivity and amplify your potential. So that is where I think the time to market and the time that you spend on coding actually reduces, and probably you can do more value-adding stuff like architecture and design. So it goes beyond this pair programmer. I think using this Gemini kind of models, you can build assets for design, testing, as well as requirement analysis. So that is where I think as a developer community, the biggest bang for the buck comes from these aspects. Okay, that's what we have seen at our organization as well.
Yeah, agents as peer programmers, great. Neha?
Yeah, I would agree to most of the points, and I categorize it in two ways: improving productivity for the developers using AI in a lot of different micro and macro ways, and enabling just like they mentioned, enabling with new tech stack, learning from basics, and solving a complex use case with the help of AI. I think that is reducing the time to market and enabling more use cases that you can think of and cover while you're developing something new. So it gives you more confidence.
Yes, micro and macro. Thank you. Varun?
Yeah, so as Archit has already shown in Firebase Studio, like you build the game within a matter of seconds. So I believe for all the departments, not only developers, maybe the UI designers, maybe the sales team who is looking for some kind of pitch or all these things, you can definitely build some prototypes. The HTML you need to do, the CSS you need to do, or the JavaScript which is required for the dynamic things. So all these things is in matter of seconds, where you conceptualize and see the output in days or weeks by the designers. But now you can do all in your own. So I believe that is the most impactful thing which I believe is there because of the AI.
No, absolutely. And as a user of that game, I expect it to run flawlessly and all the magic to happen behind the scenes, just the way it should be. So, let's delve a little deeper into that. What we'll do is I'll go around and ask a few questions based on what I know about their own individual journeys. And the idea is that it should help us all collectively think about our own experiences. So as you find some things that resonate with you or you like it, please give them a little bit of a cheer. We'll know that you're engaged, and it will try and keep it interesting and lively. Okay, thank you. So Subrat, I'll go with you first again. Yeah. So Subrat, looking ahead at Wipro, what are one or two most significant ways that you anticipate AI will continue to transform the developer experience, right? And the skills that the developers will need in the future.
So that's a very interesting question and most pertinent for this particular crowd out here. I think one of the things that is happening is that the software industry has been very fragmented in terms of roles. You have a back-end developer, you have a front-end developer, you have a DevOps engineer, you have a designer who's focused on doing CSS and stuff like that. One of the most important thing that is going to happen in my mind is that there is going to be a collapse of roles. Everybody should be able to do everything. The 10x engineer is an everything engineer is a reality that is happening. I know for a fact that not too far back, I was a back-end developer. If I was a C# developer, worst situation, right? I used to say, I don't know about front-end, I don't know J of Java. And one of the immediate thing that happens is that somebody like me, who has been a back-end engineer, can do front-end work, can do DevOps work, can do UI work, all of that stuff. I think is that collapse of role is going to create a whole bunch of innovation. Think of a startup where you had to have different roles. Today, with an idea that you have in mind, you can actually build a whole bunch of code for that by yourself. Your teams can be smaller, your time to market can be much, much faster. From a customer perspective, I think gone are the days when you would sit down and say, I will have 3 months for requirement detailing. I will then spend another 4 or 5 months for something else. So one is the collapse of roles. And I think second is the AI-driven SDLC, which is going to start impacting how the applications are built, how they are deployed, and how they are maintained, most specifically.
And I can tell you from my close association, Subrat, that's like top of mind every single day for somebody who's leading a large set of teams and products. And how do we continue to stay relevant with the change? So Subrat, adding to that, how's Wipro approaching the whole reskilling journey, reskilling, upskilling of your existing developer base so that you can effectively leverage the whole AI augmented environment that we live in now?
A lot of things, I think. One of the things which is happening is that the AI is not a research tool anymore. It's not, I think if you look at the technologies which are out there, which have taken their own time to mature, etc., generative AI is one technology which has had the shortest span of time from an adoption perspective. And I think that is being recognized by all the industry leaders. At Wipro, we've taken a lot of steps to do that. One is the entire Wipro teams, from the fresher who has joined in right up to our CEO, have been extensively being trained in Gen AI tools. When it comes to developer community, I think we have mandated use of generative AI related tools like Code Assist, GitHub Copilot, and some of the other stuff. Everyone in the organization has a mandate to start using this in non-technical roles. There are trainings which are refreshed every quarter, every 6 months, because the pace of technology is extremely rapid. Till December of last year, we were just talking about tools having modern day LLMs in it. The MCP and the agentic stuff has again changed the world. And that has been what, 3 months? So I think one of the things that is going to happen is that training, continuous learning, that's one mantra which is being pushed down. If I look at it from a developer's perspective, I think the focus has always been, in Wipro, the focus has been on training very highly, right? So Cloud Academy is something which is training everybody. But the focus now also turns to developers to say, what are you learning on your own? I think the technology changes are forcing a continuous learning kind of an environment. I think that's something that is going to continue, and Wipro is right there along with all the leaders in that.
No, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So, moving on, Pradeep, drawing from your experience at both Tech Mahindra as a large organization and the large set of enterprises you work with, what are the common strategies you are seeing using, to effectively integrate AI coding assistance into established developer workflows, right? There's a big element of change there.
Yeah. So, see, we don't look at, we look at development as a whole, including all phases of software development. So it includes requirements, design, coding, and testing, deployment, all such stuff, right? So for coding, obviously, we have this Gemini Code Assist and some of your competitor products as well in the market. So going beyond Code Assist, we have also built assists for design, testing, as well as development. And in fact, developers can build it themselves. It takes a little bit of effort, but it has a far-reaching impact. So using the larger Gemini model, all of you can actually build these assists for yourself, and which will help you greatly in doing the design and architecture, as well as generating test cases just based on business requirements documents, right? So these assists, from Code Assist and other assists for other phases are made available to the developers to use. And like Subrat mentioned, obviously training forms a very key part of adoption, right? So unless people learn, they are not able to appreciate the art of possible using these technologies. And if you cannot appreciate the art of the possible, you cannot use it effectively, right? So training forms a key aspect. Second, a playground, right? So when these technologies come on board, and if there is an organization of 1.5 lakhs, it's not possible for us to go and ask each and every person to just go and register somewhere and use it, right? So we have provided a playground where people can come, play around with these tools, see what is possible and all that, and see the results for themselves. I think someone showed the demo in the earlier session as well. So similar to that, we have simulated that in an environment where people can use it, and which is very important for developers. And the third aspect is, Subrat mentioned about mandating, right? So when we talk about mandating, it's not just about telling them to use, right? It's also about forcing them indirectly, correct? So forcing comes through KPIs, and which is actually linked to their appraisals. So because it's the human reluctance to change, correct? So it's very difficult to change from one way of working to another. So by virtue of linking that KPI to appraisal, people start using it, and gradually they get used to it, and they start appreciating the value out of it. Okay, so these are the strategies that we follow, and before adopting, it's also important to do a kind of pilot to see whether that tool is actually adaptable to a particular context, and also at the same time, what kind of quality and productivity benefits that we get. Because once developers start using it, their own managers, leaders start questioning about what is the value that you're giving, right? So that value delivery, unless you baseline, what additional value that you're going to deliver, it's very difficult to defend. So that's why that pilot is important, to baseline that quality and productivity that is expected out of using these tools. So these are, the kind of strategies that we use. So eventually, as of today, 30% of our organization, eligible population, have already started using Gemini Code Assist and the other assists that we are talking about. And the goal is for us to reach 90% this year. Okay.
Wow. That is truly incredible. And, rightly said, progress is important. Things are changing around us. Simple examples, I go for business meetings. I'm used to people sitting down, briefing me. But today with, some of the stuff that we saw from Anchit and Abhirami, with things like agent space, a lot of information that is available to us is so natural and so richer, so much more richer. But it's a question of how do we change and, embed the art of possible in our day-to-day workflows. That's the critical piece. On that note, Pradeep, how do you, what are the key considerations that you have or challenges that you face when trying to use AI tools across the development teams?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to ask a question as a group. Has anyone of you have been asked by your leaders and managers, saying, yeah, I gave you this tool, you said you will give you benefit, but I am still spending the same money. It's taking the same, the throughput has not changed. Anybody has
I'm
been asked that
expecting a
question?
100% show of hands here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that is the biggest challenge. And the reason for that we have seen is it's not the tool itself. See, tool is just one step in the process, correct? So in the whole journey. So what is needed is the changes that you have to adopt around the tool. So for example, if somebody adopts this Gemini Code Assist, of course, the developer can code at 25% faster or 30% faster. But will the overall throughput, does the deployment to production also happens 30% faster? Probably not, unless the subsequent cycles, like be it the integration testing or the user acceptance testing, deployment, all that cycles have to move forward, right, to cater to this 30% speed that you are getting in the development. So that is the biggest challenge. The very reason why many organizations say that, yes, I have invested, but I am not getting value, is mainly because of this. And I just gave an example, but the point that I'm trying to make is there are a lot of process changes needed to adopt the tool and derive value out of it. So that's the biggest challenge that we have seen. And the second is obviously the reluctance to change, which we already spoke about, so which we are overcoming through KPIs and rewards and recognitions.
No, awesome. And to others who could not hear, probably the friend here from the audience asked about the need for establishing value, ROI, and those kind of questions. So great way to put that into perspective. Again, Neha, I think the macro analogy you gave earlier, I think we have to look at the whole thing. It's not just the number of lines committed or the amount of code generated today, but the entire perspective on how are we crunching timelines, right? So it's a great example. Neha, so coming to you with that, what are the key ways you are allowing developers at Deploy to move away from routine tasks and focus on more higher value items at Deploy?
Okay, that's a great question, Chintan. So we are a developer tool itself, right? So it's important for us to use and to promote that. And what we have observed while even building these tools, talking to all the developer community that we have, more than 50% of the time goes for a developer in, after writing the features or developing that basic prototype, you spend more time on code reviews, on writing test cases for it, automating and maintaining current test cases, or deploying that thing, making the release notes, AI doc for it, and a lot of housekeeping work around it. So I think AI is helping us, especially automating that. Like we use AI wherever we want, like wherever we can, be it at the macro or the micro level. And I think with that automation, it is not just helping us, write code, but also think of more possible scenarios. So, for example, developers use Deploy, and we need to replicate scenarios when something is not working. And for an early developer or even an experienced one, you want some basic brainstorming to be done when you get a bug or a incident reported. And I think AI does a great job giving you different directions of when you provide a basic debugging log or some raw data, it will give you good directions on these could be the possible directions, and basic brainstorming could be done, which earlier developers used to spend a lot of time together. Hey, this is not working, or this got reported. So I think all of that has become faster. Apart from that, I think one more thing that we earlier talked about, deep diving into more complex technologies has become easier. You get more confidence. So for example, we use eBPF, and we have written protocol parsers for each database. with engineers with 1 or 2 years of experience. And we were initially thinking, how are we going to do it? Because we want to um, parse network calls and all that. But using AI, at least that gave us confidence. At least we have something that we can learn more about this tech, and we got through that phase. So I think we use AI in whatever way possible to make things easier and better, and get us more confidence.
That's fantastic. And how are you leveraging AI tools yourself? I know you're building
Yeah.
tools for developers,
Yeah.
but how are you leveraging AI-powered tools yourself to enhance code quality, identify vulnerabilities or address them?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, so we use it for every basic stuff. So, apart from thinking of more user flows, covering them, like the strategic thing, we try to automate and use AI for every other thing. For example, be it code reviews, be it generating API docs or PR descriptions, things like that, to, uh, we have built our own code review agent. So it's part of Google Summer of Code project with Keploy this summer. So one of a early developer like you would be open sourcing that using Keploy. So we use that for code reviews, and it becomes easier. We use Keploy to test Keploy, for example. So from unit to end-to-end cases, and you would be happy to know that we use Gemini 2.5 Pro. We are getting the best results with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, every developer is easily able to achieve like 70-80% coverage. So you want AI to assist you until a certain point, and then after that you do the more strategic part of thinking of more edge cases and cover more edge cases. So yeah, for everything that could be automated, we're trying to use AI for that.
Addressing new areas and thinking beyond. Yeah. Thank you. Varun, as you lead engineering at Meteorology, what kind of AI tools are you seeing having, most significantly boosting developer productivity within your organization?
So, as everybody knows these days, AI is coming up. Like it started with Gemini and all these, where web frameworks are there, and you just go type your query, get some code snippets, and all these things. But now it's all about code assistant as a your peer programmer, which is helping you across building minor code snippets. Maybe you need to, let's say, write some kind of logs. Maybe you need to do some kind of regex and all these things. And then later on, it understands all your code. You can build your whole function there. Then also you can get your code reviewed. Like you get some suggestions also, like these things need to be done, or the variables which are not used, or maybe there can be exceptions later on. You need to add the try and all these things, right? So from that point of view, the code assistant is very important. The second thing is the code review is very important. Also from the debugging perspective. So we are also doing the debugs and all, where we review the performance of the websites we are building. We review the web applications we are building, where the lags are coming in, or maybe the console errors which are coming in, and we know in advance that all these things will happen in production, right? So all these things are happening via all AI tools which we are using. And yes, this Firebase Studio, that is also one thing which is helping you in building your prototypes, presenting it to the teams, and then taking feedbacks on that. So everywhere, developer is doing things in much faster manner, and yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, please.
So we have about 5 million lines of code base. How long do you think a bug fix or a new feature add to something that large a code base would take? Any takers? Without AI? Ages. Okay. So we've been using code assistant tools along with MCP servers along with that. And this is just as fresh from a couple of days back. A bug which would have taken about 3-4 days to get done gets done in 3-4 minutes. A feature which would have taken about 3-4 weeks is done in exactly the same time, right? So, and the process is completely simple as well. You've got your issue, your Jira tickets, etc. You grab your Jira ticket number, you give it to your MCP server that you installed. The MCP allows the Jira ticket context to come back into the Code Assistant tool, and the Code Assistant tool, specifically with Gemini 2.5 Pro, with million context window, is able to go through that large code base and is able to suggest, provide answers, and make the fixes. But here is something that blew my mind that one of the developers was showing. In such a large code base, one of the biggest problems is being able to build. It takes a long time, and then being able to debug. I'm sure you've seen something like this happen, right? I was literally blown away when one of the developers said they selected a method, they gave it the input parameters for that method, and asked it to walk it through. So the LLM model essentially evaluated line by line and identified where the problem might be. So debugging agents, anybody? So that is a game changer as far as I'm concerned, because now you can understand in plain language what's going on inside of your code. And you don't have to deploy, you don't have to build it out. LLM is able to apply all that knowledge to it and say, okay, you've written this particular statement. This has been your context earlier. What is the next line going to do? That, to me, changes the life of developers all over.
So tools everywhere and every part of the process, very consistent. What I've heard from, writing storyboards to PRDs to actual code deployment, code review. So they're omnipresent. They're changing the way things are done. And a great example, Subrat, things we couldn't imagine would have taken ages, now happening in front of us in real time, right? So that's the rate of change that we are dealing with. Great to bring that out. Varun, just one more thing on that is that with AI contributing towards democratization of software development, and even Neha touched about it in terms of how in her organization she's seeing that every day, and with wider set of individuals now contributing, how do you see like the implications of this on team collaboration?
Yeah, so AI is poised to do the democratization because, the easy things are now more required to do, right? And whatever the hard one are easy to do because of the AI, right? So when you start your problem, so to the previous question as an example, so if I need to write some kind of form where I will be processing the request, writing the data into the database, doing the validations, giving the response as the HTTP 200 or 500, whatever it is. So if you do without AI, developer need to do a lot of things, right? Thinking about the request, thinking about the validation, and everything. With the AI, you just type in the natural language and just say, process the request, validate these fields, push into the DB, connect with the DB, all these things, and then return the respective responses. So that is quite, seamless and in seconds. But when we talk about the
team collaboration.
Yeah. So in that, let's say the complexity is very high. But when you talk about with your code assistant, you give the prompts, you give the comments properly, then it automatically generates that code, and it is more manageable. And also you can explain that. Let's say the code assistant is generating one code, and you want to understand what it has generated. You just do the explain prompt to that, and you will learn about it. So the next thing is, it's a guide. It's a mentor to you, right? So no matter you have a huge experience in all these cloud operations, all these technical problems, the new language, maybe the Golang, maybe the PHP, maybe the Node.js, you just work with your code assistant and you work as a domain expert. So the third thing which I want to talk about is the domain expert. Maybe I am a physics guy, maybe I am a biology guy, but with the help of all these AI tools, I can be a programmer as well. So the domain experts are getting leverage because of that, and they can build new things. So the community is getting bigger, it's growing, right? So what we need to do here, we need to have a high collaboration tools so that, because everything is developed very fast. So when things are coming fast, your teams need to collaborate in a manner where you have a like Git or SVN, whatever you use as your code repositories. and then how you are pushing into that, how you are doing your code reviews, also like deployments. So when you are doing the deployments, there is an error coming. So Abhirami just showed that there is an error, right? How you debug it? You go and check via your AI tools, and you know what is the error. You can also fix it with the AI, right? So a lot of things are happening very fast, and that's why there is a shift in the developer approach. Like they need to accommodate all these things. They need to have some IDs which will be integrated with all these code assistants. They will be having all these code review processes. So the organization and the leaders, they need to work with all the teams where you have this process in place, that how you will be doing the code reviews, how you will be doing the deployments. Maybe you need to have your test automation, which is also again, as Neha mentioned. so that is also part of the process. If you keep all these things in process, then everything go to time to market is also less, and the developer will be solving the real hard problems. So they will not be implementing or doing small jobs. It's all done by the AI things and as the agents, or maybe a junior guy who is working with your team is writing the actual, solving the actual problem, not like building the like boilerplate things, working with the databases connections and all these things, handling all the errors. It's already done, right? So you solve the domain level problem, and that's how it can help in moving faster.
Yeah, no, Varun, that's a great way of putting it together. I think we all want to do higher order work in whatever roles we are doing. I think it's a great way for allowing a lot of these mundane tasks to be offloaded there and allowing us to focus more time, better quality of time towards the higher order problems. And I think that's a great way of putting it. Thank you. So the whole idea of this discussion today was that we get to hear different perspectives, as they are all in very different journeys, trying to solve at different scales, different challenges. So hope we could bring that, some of those elements to life in the conversation for you today in this discussion. What I'll do, one last thing, is ask all of you to share one piece of advice. You know, we've got several hundred organizations here. They're all dealing with it, dealing with the change, adapting as it comes. But if you were to give one piece of advice each to our audience here on how to strategically leverage AI and empower our employees and developers, what would that be?
I've got two pieces of advice, not just one, right? So one is, do not be afraid of it. It is going to be there. It is going to be all pervasive. If you embrace it, it will make your life that much easier. Second is continuously learning. We are in an era where last week's news is very, very old news. Yeah, it might seem like a rat race, but at the end of the day, staying updated on technology isn't something that you would do in the weekends, isn't something that you would do once in a month. You've got to continuously keep updated on what's happening, because technology is changing so rapidly, and it will continue to change at that pace even faster. So embrace and continuously learn. Those are the two mantras that I have.
Awesome, Subrat. Pradeep?
Yeah, my advice is, just being hooked onto the coding probably might not be the wise thing to do going forward, because more and more coding is being done by these tools like Gemini Code Assist. So it's in the interest of every developer to expand the horizon, to get into the design, testing, and even the requirement analysis, because everything has become so easy by using Gemini or the Gemini Code Assist kind of tools. So so that's what I would suggest. Right from the not just after passing out of your college, even during your college days itself, you have to inculcate these things, because earlier the recruitments used to happen on a basis of how good a person is as a programmer, right? So I don't think going forward the recruitment is based on that. Recruitment is based on this: how will you deliver value? Whether you do it yourself, whether you use any tool that is available in the market, and how you effectively use those tools is what actually differentiates you from others. So I think that's the advice. So expand the horizon and include everything apart from coding, right? So coding, testing, design, all the aspects.
Yeah, fabulous. Means to the end is irrelevant. It's the end, and there are many ways to get there. Yeah, Neha?
So I put it like same thing but different perspectives for developers. You know, don't think I get that a lot. Is AI replacing the developers or any particular role? But I would say it's not replacing, but think like it's redefining your role for future. It's how the role is going to be. You have an assistant with you, doing your tasks. So leverage that as much as possible for your growth. And for leaders, that advice is, it's like the friend here mentioned correctly. It's very difficult to measure the ROI for the adoption of these LLM tools or AI-based tools. Um, what I have seen personally is it is easier to adopt tools apart from direct LLMs. It is easier to adopt tools that are centrally placed and introduced in the systems rather than forcing it. So it comes naturally to the developers as part of the central system. It's easier to adopt rather than forcing particular licenses on a particular team. That doesn't really work out well from the ROI perspective. It's very hard to measure that.
Yeah. Thanks, Neha. Varun?
So, in terms of the advice, what I have learned in the last 1 year versus what I have learned in the last 3 months. So, I will say in the last 3 months, I have seen a lot of things which are happening in the AI space. And I will say for everybody, either it's the leaders or the developers and everyone, think AI first. Because when you think AI first, you will be moving forward. I'm telling you because you will not be doing the mundane jobs. You will not be doing the things which are time consuming but not having the ROI on that. It is already built, right? So for the leaders, they need to facilitate their teams with all the IDEs, either it's VS Code or Cursor, where you can connect with your LLMs, and then your team is doing the job faster, as well as all the deployments which are already working with the AI, either it's on cloud or in your local infrastructure, but helping team to debug faster, deploy faster. And for the developers, yes, the law of the nature is to keep moving forward. So let's adopt this AI part and move forward.
Please, so.
So for all the developers who are scared that the AI will make you obsolete, that is not true. It is another developer who's using these tools more effectively than you is what is going to make you obsolete. So AI is not going to make you obsolete. Another developer with these tools will. So please embrace.
Oh, thank you everyone for bringing the elephant in the room. I think, see, every step change in technology in the history of humankind has met with the same skepticism, right? Calculators were met with the same skepticism, right? People were using abacus tools and slide rules and whatnot. But when you look back, you never feel so worried about it. But maybe in the present, sometimes it weighs on our minds. I think we got some great piece of advice of how people and leaders who are driving change at scale are looking at it. Hopefully that gives you a perspective, right? The mantra is to embrace. The mantra is to take it head on. They are omnipresent. They're going to be part of every journey now. How do you make the most of it and stay ahead of the curve? Drive speed and scale, right? And what's of value yesterday is no longer going to be of value tomorrow. The value is going to shift. So how do we stay up with that and go along with that journey is the key, what we're hearing from all our esteemed panelists here. Hope it was useful, but thank you for being a wonderful audience. Enjoy the rest of your day. I think we'll hear from Prithvika on what's next. But thank you once again. Thank you, Subrat, Pradeep, Neha, and Varun.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Now, to the audience, lunch is being served now between now to 1:20 p.m., we request you to step outside, and there are 3 buffet counters, one towards your right as soon as you step up and 2 towards your left. So make sure you spread out so you can eat comfortably. We also have lightning talk from 1 p.m. at the community lounge. So please do join in at the expo area. Thank you so much.